Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. This is back into our play by email challenge against our good friend Lodric. Boy, I'm having a hard time. Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. My favorite game of all time. I argue the best game ever made for the PC. But I know that's saying a lot. But at least the best war game ever made for the PC. I think you can safely make that argument. Um, what's going on here? Well, we're setting up for January 12th, 1942. We're playing 2-day turns. And so this setup, when we do the combat resolution, will take us through January 12th and 13th. We had done the entire U.S. West Coast up into Alaska. We had talked about our submarines that we have out here, and I thought we would just start right where we left off. And actually, I'm going to look at Johnston Island first. And out here at Johnston Island, I have some dive bombers, and I don't like this. And the reason I don't like it is we need some fighters out here over the top of them. If you just have dive bombers out here, they could very easily get ripped up by his carriers, for instance. And so, what do we have out here? Aviation sport, we have 25 in aviation sport. Aviation sport required, we have 8. Now, never forget that you would think airplanes use fuel. They do not. They use supply. And so you see zero fuel. We can't refuel ships. That's what fuel is used for, are ships. Supply actually is what, quote unquote, fuels your planes. There's a long history behind that and why that came to be. There were two different development teams. Anyway, the point is that's how the game works. And so what you're really looking at when it comes to aircraft, do I have, can I get the aircraft up in the air? Well, look at your supply. Now we have the sub group. It's a wolf pack, 3 subs sitting out here in front of Johnston. I like that, just in case he sneaks up here. He did come up here and park at Johnston Island very early on in the first week. We haven't seen anything since. Now he's got a lot of subs out here. We know that. We'll get back around to that. But I would like some fighters out here at Johnston Island if we have any that have enough range to get out there. Now, how many hexes are we talking about? We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so it's going to be like 20 hexes. There aren't too many fighters. We can see here Airacobras. Their maximum range, and what is that used for? For hopping bases. They can't fly missions out that far, but if you just want to transfer bases, that's what maximum range is. That's only 11. Okay, so let's go through all of our fighters. Is there anything with 20? I don't think there is. The Warhawks are a 12. This Warhawk's 14. Okay, that's the P-40B. 16 for the Mohawks. Man, we're getting close. But no, we don't have anything that could jump 20. Let's just see. I always just check. I always just check. Do we see Johnston Island? No. Could we hop it somewhere? Is LeHue? That doesn't really get us that much closer. Well, 2 hexes, I guess. I said this is 20. This has got 16. 2 to there. Nope, we can't quite make it. Okay, so we'd have to put them on a transport. I don't like that at all. But this is only 6 dive bombers. So what I'm going to do is keep this naval search going. It doesn't have a defined arc. It is searching everywhere to a radius of 8. And you can see whenever it makes a purple line, that's because the blue got on the red. And so everywhere in here, if he comes in this area, we may dive bomb him, or let's hope we do, depending on what squadron leader wants to do. Is he in this group? These are Vindicators. Oh, we do not want these out here. These are carrier capable. We don't want these out here at all. Yeah, that was I didn't realize that those were carrier capable. You do not want carrier capable out here just running what are, they're not suicide missions, but if he was bringing his aircraft carrier over here, they would be suicide missions. So we don't want that. Do we have any other dive bombers? So there's the dive bombers. We could put some level bombers out there. Yeah, we really don't. I mean, the only dive bombers we have are those Vindicators. Huh. Okay, well, we're going to want to put those on a carrier at some point. So let's just leave them right there for now. What else is going on at Pearl Harbor? Let's look at the air, see if we got anything else in. I've got ASW going with some bolos. Okay, let's go look at their pilots really quickly. You can see they didn't improve this last turn, but they were up to a 49 ASW. That's, getting much better anyway. Their experience is at a 53 and continues to go up as we do a general ASW group there. These bolos, also same idea. We've got the Mohawks Era Cobras. These guys are training. Um, they're Hawaiian USAAF. We could move them off Hawaii, but you never want to get too thin at Hawaii. I mean, game over. If the Japanese take Hawaii, it's game over, and you can just, reboot or send him a new file and say, okay, well, let's try this one again. Now, we do have these Warhawks out here that are attached to the Pacific Fleet. Now, why is that? Because we've got 18th PG. I'm actually going to change him back over. It doesn't matter that much, except the more if they're in command, they do better. I'm not sure why that would be, really. This is the big general overall command. It's only going to cost us 12 points to do that. Oh, it's actually not going to cost us anything because it's down the chain of command, I believe. Is that true though? Let's see. Yeah, 12 points. There it is. 12 political points. That's fine. I just want them to be in the right command. Done. There we go. Okay. So now it's Hawaiian USAAF. You could move those anyway. I just want them to get the benefits of the command. These seagulls are independent. They're generally these seagulls are recon craft off of carrier or cruisers or light cruisers, which do carry some aircraft. We see the Vindicators and Dauntlesses. These are actually carrier capable. They've got an 8. If we look at our fighters that are running escort, well, these are training. Let's go back to some of the ones that are running escort out here. Here, we know these P-40B Warhawks have a pretty good. Now, see, I've got them set at 5. So let's go back then to anything that's carrier capable. Um, Now, this is that unit that's got to leave. I don't know why that's still over here. I'm going to go look at that offline. Anything that's carrier capable, like these, I'm going to actually take those off search and we'll just have them train up 100. Naval bombing, land bombing, defensive. So we're going to actually want to do naval attack. Vindicators, they're dive bombers. Pretty sure we want those doing naval attack. Let's set that to 0 for their maximum range. Okay, and then we also have the Dauntlesses. If we click on the Dauntlesses, naval bombing. We could also do those on naval search or naval attack, either one. Um, Train. Let's just do those naval attack. Let's make sure that's on 100. I'll check the other ones. Training 100. Dauntlesses. Let's go back to the Vindicators. Train 100. Let's just make sure train 100. Okay, that looks good. We've got a lot of search going on, a lot of training going on. We do have some escort going on, meaning they're flying cap, right? We've got some ASW. I don't have anything on naval attack now. You can see these huge search patterns that we're running out here. If we get on some of these recon aircraft, you can see that big search pattern down here. We got a big search pattern there, big search pattern. We're looking all over the place. We also need to probably do some back here. He's got a lot of subs back here, obviously. But I kind of like the way it's set up now. All right, let's look at the task forces we have in port. AM's just, we've got a minesweeper. We've got 2 tankers that are sitting here. They're fully loaded. Now, why are they just sitting here? Well, these are the kind of tankers with low, not a huge endurance, not a huge capacity. These are only, I say only 15-point ships that will run out into the South Pacific to take fuel out there. But as of right now, there's way too many subs here, and I don't have any destroyers available. We also brought in this aviation battalion, okay, and a transport with some artillery. We do want to get that south if we can, but we want to make sure we have another destroyer in there if we can find one. TKs, yeah, we don't have any destroyers out here. That's why it's just sitting here. It's remaining on station until more destroyers show up from the west coast. We've got a gun tender here, the AG. Let's just disband that. We've got PT boats. We've got local minesweepers. So it's really this. This is just sitting waiting for more escort. And same with the tankers. So we need destroyers out here. We looked at the planes. Let's see what we've got. Pretty much. I say pretty much a lot of this stuff can move. You can see Pacific Fleet. We've got Marine Defense battalions that are artillery. We've got a lot of it out here. This is all supposed to go down into the Southwest Pacific. We just haven't had a chance to move it out there yet. Okay, we've got this group coming in. Here come our DDs with the tanker. With a tanker group, I should say. Big group here. 47,000 tons of fuel coming from the U.S. West Coast out of Los Angeles. I've got two destroyers and a destroyer minesweeper here with it as it gets ready to come into port and unload. We've got all kinds of patrols going on over here. I've also got the Hugh Merchant that's coming back. I sent this out to Palmyra, I think. Now it's coming back in. Let's make sure that's going to auto disband. It is. Okay. Patrol group. Great. That looks fantastic. Now then, what do I have out here? Destroyers. The minute that we uncovered that all of his submarine line is here, his net, I took every destroyer that I had at Pearl Harbor at that time and put them right out here. So they're running, ASW work out here. Let's make sure that's true. ASW Combat, Max Reactive 2. They've already, I think, destroyed one sub. We showed that it had like 6 hits or something. I'm pretty sure we destroyed that. I hope. I hope. What do we have back here? We have another big task force, big supply task force coming in. Two destroyers, a destroyer minesweeper, getting ready to run this gauntlet through here. Now we could, since we know he's right in here, or at least that's where he was, let's actually do a waypoint. So let's set waypoint 1. And let's just set it over here. So it'll go here and then down. Why take the chance? I mean, we have escort, that's true, but we have dedicated sub hunters out here. Speaking of which, well, first of all, let's look at what we have here. We've got a big transport group. Okay, interesting. We've got two tankers. This is a real mishmash. I don't know how this all turned out this way. I don't even know why this is called a transport task force. We don't have any APs here. Let's make this a cargo task force. All right. Now it's properly identified on the map with the little smokestack sitting up. This has got some supply, some fuel. I don't know. It's all coming to Pearl Harbor. We've got pretty good support there, but I'm also going to do this one the same way. I'm going to use a waypoint, and we're going to set waypoint 1. Let's set waypoint 1 there. So we'll have it come north, and then we'll set waypoint 2 over here. Again, we just since we know he's got a lot of subs over here, yeah, do we have escort? But why even, why? Let's take extra precaution. Do not refuel. I've got this on auto disband. I think that's fine. Let's have that on auto disband. What's this guy doing? He is not, and that's fine. And we also want to come out the same way, so do return the same route, and he'll follow those waypoints. Return the same route. Yes. Okay, now then, let's get to something interesting. Those are the destroyers. I also have DMSs out here. Now they're destroyer minesweepers, but they have anti-sub capability. So they're also out here. Now what the heck do I have here? He asks, as if I don't know. First of all, we have the 185th Infantry. This I do not want coming to Pearl Harbor. I had it follow. What did I have it follow? A carrier. Now I've got all my carriers together, but we'll talk about that in 1 second. Instead, we're going to cancel this meeting. Okay. He's got two DDs and a DMS. Now we've got the Queen Elizabeth with that. That is a very valuable ship. Uh, let's have them head down this way. Kind of, I either put him through here or through here. Let's have him head down to here for now. And whenever you do this, then you can then remain on station. And when he gets there, he'll just stop and sit there. Okay, then what do I have here? I have my three big carriers. I was going to take them to Auckland. And let's talk about that for a second. Why would I do that? Well, we're in a bit of trouble in this game, and he's got us on our heels a little bit. What I would hope to do is get down there to Auckland. We can just make it to Auckland. And when we do that, surprise him. That would be the plan. Now the problem is if we get caught out here with his major task force, we are in huge, huge trouble. That, it's three of our four carriers. I have the Saratoga still sitting back here, but as I brought the Yorktown out from San Diego, I had no, I said the Saratoga. It's not the Saratoga that's back here. I brought the Lexington and the Saratoga out to meet the Yorktown out of an abundance of caution. I had already started to set up this turn, and I said, well, do I go for it? Now, what I've done is I've taken my three cruisers with the biggest AA imprint. These both have 530, but then I also have the St. Louis, which is a light cruiser with 512. That's massive. Wait a minute. Hold on. Get back up here. It's the Salt Lake City. Nope, it's not that one either. Looking for the really big AA. I guess these are all 530s. Well, let's say we're going to transfer a ship in. That anytime you do that, it'll show you your stats. Okay, so the Yorktown only has a 600 AA, whereas the Lexington and the Saratoga have 1036. Those are big plane or big guns out there on that. And then you see our cruisers and light cruisers AA, and then you see the destroyers that I have in here. These are those new destroyers that we got with the 4 ASW. All right. So the basic idea would be to sit out at Auckland and hide there until we see an opportunity. Uh, the problem is if you miscalculate, it's game over. If you lose all three of these subs, forget about it. Just forget about it. Again, it's another one of those, just send him the file. So I'm going to actually stay right here because we know all of his subs are right there, right? So I'm going to stay in this hex for a moment. That all looks good. We're going to come back and look at the aircraft on the carriers. Now, these are all of the destroyers that are twos, right? So again, if you ever want to know what the stats are, just hit transfer ship in. These are all the stats in, or all the ships in the hex. These are all the ships that are already in the task force. Guns, torpedoes, AA, ASW. These all have two ASW. We're going to send these guys right into the thick of where he seems to have a vast majority of his subs. So I think maybe like here. All right, and we're going to put a max react of 3. And I'm going to put them out here. We've got them on remain on station. Um, I could put on a patrol zone, but I think I'm just going to have them sit right in the middle of that, and we're going to try to destroy with all of this. We've got 4 destroyers up here. We've got 3 destroyer mine layers. We've got how many destroyers in this? 7 that are going to come out here, and we're going to try to get as many of his subs as we can. We've got this moving this way. We've already done this, and we're going to have our carriers just sit here. Let's go look at the aircraft on the carriers. The Lexington has um, only 78 of 90. When we bring it back, I think I'm going to bring it back into Pearl Harbor first. If nothing else, we'll refuel and then potentially go on to Auckland. We'll we'll see. We'll see. As you can see, I've already burned up some fuel. It's hard to get down there anyway. You know, it's a long, long ways for big aircraft carriers. So for now, let's just wait. Let's just wait. So what do we have out here? We have Buffaloes. Those are obviously fighters. They're running a 50 cap. We've got them at a 7, which is kind of their extended, I say kind of, it is their extended radius. I've got them at 15,000 feet. Why is that? Well, they're just as maneuverable at 15,000 as they are anywhere below that. That looks good. We've got 31 pilots for 24 planes. Well, 27 planes. We may actually want to get some pilots when we come back into port. Let's look at our pilots. Experience 64 on average. As you can see, we've got some greenhorns down here that I brought in. Uh, but air to air, I mean, we've got some excellent pilots in here. 79 experience, 80 in the air. That's good. Average 64, and that's what you'll see in a lot of um, these carriers. When you start the game, a lot of your best pilots are already in the carrier crews. Okay, let's go back. Then we have Dauntlesses. What are the Dauntlesses doing? They can get out to an 8, but remember, your fighters can only go to a 7. So I usually just set these at whatever the maximum range of the fighters is. This is doing a general search, just a naval search. They're dive bombers. They're doing a general search. I've got them at 8,000 feet. They could probably be a little lower. More Dauntlesses. Okay, these are also doing a big general search, maximum range 7. Then I've got the Devastators. The Devastators are torpedo bombers. You want them on naval attack. All right. Current altitude 6,000. Their maximum range is a 5, and so we've got them running a 5. So we've got, the dive bombers running out at a 7 doing a search. The fighters can escort them out there, and then we have the torpedo bombers doing a 5. Let's look at Saratoga. Saratoga, this will show you over here, aircraft capacity used 90 and 90. All right, so it'll put it in reserve for those that are over. And you can see we've got 4 Buffaloes here that aren't currently being used. We can only do 90 that can run missions. You also have the max number of sorties that can go off of these ships and how many torpedoes that they have. Okay, 396 on the victory value. Don't forget that. Wildcats, 27 of them running 50 cap, max range 7. We got it out there. These I've got up at 20,000 feet because they can do it. Now you may want to lower these down to where your torpedo bombers are so they truly are escorts. Or you can do what I like to do, which is run these guys up at 20,000. And if you have another group of fighters like these Buffaloes, these are the guys you put down lower, and we'll just run those at like 8,000 feet. All right. So we've got them at a 50 cap escort. They can go out 7. Okay. Back. So as you can see, we have 5 groups of aircraft on here. So the Buffaloes will be the dedicated escort. The Wildcats are really running cap over the carriers themselves. Dauntlesses naval search, you've seen this before, max range 7. That's at 8,000 feet. That's why we're doing it. I probably should be looking at the pilot groups to make sure we have enough pilots. I'll start doing that. You kind of want to have at least 1.3, maybe 1.5 the number of pilots. Now, early on, that does cause you to have some inexperienced pilots out here, but that's kind of how I do it. Is about 1.3 to 1.5. So 18, 24 makes sense. 8, 7 naval search, just a general search, and then the Devastators are down at 6,000, max range 5. We've got 13, 18. That's how I like to do it. They usually don't build up a lot of fatigue that way. It's naval attack or rest. Um, okay, excellent. That was all just set up just fine. But you know what? I do want to go back and look. Do we need some more pilots with the Buffaloes? Nope, we've got 18. Okay, excellent. Um, we've got 3 in maintenance, 1 damaged to get us down to that 90. So that was the Buffaloes. Do these guys? Yeah, that's where we need them. When we come back in, and you can see major skills, we need air to air defensive, and you just generally always want pilots to have experience, right? When we come back into Pearl Harbor, we'll grab some more pilots for these Wildcats. Let's go to the Yorktown. This is brand new. We've got 79 planes on here. Okay. We've got the Wildcats. We've got 13 pilots that I brought in that still need to be put on the carrier itself. Only 17 serviceable Wildcats. It's not a very big group out here. I've got them at 20,000. Move them out to 7. Back. Okay. Dauntlesses. We could use another couple of pilots in here. Dauntlesses, we like those at 8,000. We'll take those out to a 7. Okay. General search. Another group of Dauntlesses, 57, 8,000. Naval search looks good. 21. We need to add some pilots here, certainly. Devastators, let's get that down to 6,000. Let's bump that to range 5. Naval attack rest. Again, we need more pilots. So let's remember that. The Yorktown needs more pilots. Okay, excellent. That's really all we need to talk about there. So we've got our carriers just sitting out here, not necessarily where you want them to be, but I'm going to try to make a decision there. Do I take a big chance and send them out to Auckland? Now, a lot of times you would sit here until probably the end of, or well, at least summer of 42, but really you don't get aircraft carrier, parity until into 1943. So just be aware of that. All right. Excellent. What is going on here? We've got 4 APs all by themselves. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take one of these destroyers. Let's form a new task force. Okay. Let's do ASW combat. I don't like when transports are just floating around out there by themselves. We don't want the good destroyers, the good meaning the twos. If we look out here, that's with 312. This is the big group of them. Let's just take the Bagley done, just so they have a little bit of meet task force. 4 APs. Where are you? Where are you, 4 APs? It's neither of these two task forces. It must be this one. No, it's oh, there he is. Okay. Let's meet that task force. All right. And when we do, let's merge into it. And so we'll just follow. So I mean, he's going to make it all the way down here, merge in, and at least they'll have one destroyer with them. I just don't like them to be out here all by themselves. That's how you end up losing 4 transports and cursing at yourself, like maybe I have done a few times early in this game before I realized what a skillful player Lodric is. AKL's in here. Okay, now this is going back to Pearl. What is this? Okay. Interesting. This is a big group of support ships. They got scared, uh, to put it mildly. These guys, I'm actually going to bring down to Tahiti. Um, I thought they were already down here, to be quite honest. We want them to auto disband when they get down there, and we'll just set that as their home port. Yep, they can make it rather easily. They bring in some supply. These tankers can drop off this fuel into Tahiti, and then we'll have the tankers maybe come back. Maybe they'll go to Auckland and pick up some more fuel. Okay, so that's cool. He hasn't moved. We have not seen him east. He was in this hex with some carriers 1 turn. We haven't seen him move east of that yet. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We just haven't seen it yet. Back here, we should be okay. I mean, you say that haltingly, right? Here we have DD, AVP, AP, AK. These are all going back to LA. Why is that? I dropped off most of the 101st U.S. base force, U.S. Navy base force. There's a very little, it's mainly all supply it still had to drop off. I decided to get it the hell out of here. Too many valuable ships here. I just sent it back to Los Angeles. I'm not even going to deal with this over here in case we get caught up in carrier traffic. Okay, I've got a full transport group out here with 8th Marine. Now, normally you would bring 8th Marine into Pago, Suva, or Nomaya. Frankly, I've been scared to bring them over here. They're just sitting here. They're remaining on station. They're waiting for further orders. They're cursing their commanders. I'm sure they're all seasick. It can't be good to be out on transports for day after day, but they're sitting here. They've still got enough fuel, right? But this is the entire 8th Marine Regiment. I do not want that to get caught up in a carrier attack. Now, we could take it down to Auckland potentially, but I've got other stuff going into Auckland. So for now, it sits. This is a bunch of support tenders. I am taking this into Auckland. It's going to auto disband, and we're going to do not unload. We want these tenders to be down there to support what we want to do. So we've got Auckland. We've got Kodiak up in the north. We've got Tahiti. That's kind of, I'm building a ring of tenders so that if we need to come back and we can't make it all the way to Pearl Harbor or the U.S. West Coast or Sydney, whatever the case may be, they've got other places to go. All right, so that's the regiment, the Marine Regiment. Again, I'm just going to have it sit there for now. That I have sent back. I do have this transport over here by Wallis Island. Why is this here? It had some supply in it. I'm taking this back to Penryn. He must not be out here because he would have hit this already, I think, if he was. I am sending small cargo ships, such as this one, into Suva. This is the crappiest little cargo ship you can get, just to see what he's got out here. If we lose this ship and lose 1 point, I will send condolences to the families, but I just want to see if he's got carriers in the area. We've also got submarines that are coming down here. I say coming down here, they're here. I'm going to park them right in front of Suva, right there, and they're going to remain on station and just sit there. Okay, let's make sure we got max react 1. We do. All right, in front of Pago, we've already got that. Let's see what's at Pago. We don't have a whole lot. If you look at our assault value, 68. It's not enough. We've got 2 base forces. We've got 56 in aviation support and only 12 planes here. And those are just patrol Catalinas. Now, I've got them right over Suva. And so that kind of tells us, he's not out here. Matter of fact, that tempts me to move this up because I'd love to put those guys in Suva. So let's just move up just a little bit. They'll remain on station there. I'm going to inch them forward and try to get 8th Marine in here. I feel like that's 12 planes that are flying over this area. And also, I mean, they cover anything over here by Pago as well. So we could potentially put these troops into Pago. We'll see. All right, so that's out. This is Auckland. Yep. That's going to come here and sit. It can either go up to Pago or it could go over to Suva with that full infantry regiment. Now out here by Tahiti, I've got the DMS Trevor looking for subs. He did have some subs over here before. We do have a huge task force dropping off here. And you can see Tahiti's up to 18,000 in supply. That's a lot. We may want to take this somewhere else. I mean, you get to a point, it's just overkill, right? We could try Pago because, well, it's got 6,200. Suva's got only 1,600. I'd love, but that's too big of a task force, too many points to take in there. So I'm just going to let it continue to drop off here at Tahiti. We've only got this one unit out here. Now we could bring, a regiment, a U.S. regiment out here. I don't think it's necessary yet. Those are famous last words, though. This may be our only outpost, from the U.S. West Coast at some point. What do we have out here? We have got transports of what though? We've got the 161st Infantry Regiment, we've got coastal artillery, we've got planes, we've got a base force, we've got more planes. What kind of planes are these? We've got Mohawks, Santa Ynez. These are Lightnings, so we've got some fighters out here. Santa Barbara's carrying 2 war. I mean, it's not that many, but it's something. So we've got a lot of planes coming out here. Now, originally, I wanted to park this in Pago. I wanted to do the other group in Suva. It hasn't. I just haven't felt comfortable. We've got another massive force here. This has got the 34th Infantry on it, which has got 150 or 160 assault value. We've got coastal artillery. We've got 47th construction. We got a base part of a base force. I mean, we've got a lot going on here. Again, I'm taking it all into Auckland for now. We maybe even bypass Auckland and go all the way to Australia. We'll just have to see. Radio then. So that's doing that. Why do I have a ship it here? Oh, it's an AO, the Sabine. It's holding 15,000 tons out here, just in case somebody needs to refuel. So we've got that. Always try to park your AOs somewhere like a Tahiti. If you're playing against a player that's not as good, you can put them at like Christmas Island, although that's getting pretty close to Pearl. You could also, I mean, put them up at one of these bases, just have it sit there because it's a floating gas station, right? All right, so these ships are headed towards Auckland. Again, I originally planned to put them in our Iron Curtain, but once he had carriers floating about out here, you got to be super careful. Let's go down here. Well, that's not true. Let's go back up to Pago. All right, so we've just got the one planes. Everybody should be on combat. He is not. This is port services. Let's put him on combat and let's set him for Pago. All right. Strat. This is that 101st Base Force that we dropped most of it off. Like 99% of it got off. The transports. Let's do this again. Pago. There we go. Okay. Let's go back. And then he's at San Diego. Nope. You're not in San Diego anymore, my friend. Let's go right there. And we do need supply here. We're just going to have to think of a smarter way of doing it, I think. Because, I mean, he's got 6,200, but as we bring more in here, you need to get supply down here. I'm so tempted to just have this book it right there, but all right, I'll do it for, let's see. He would be there already. Let's just have him go like here. Uh, that way, if he gets a carrier over here, we would just be on the edge of it. He moves what? One, two, three, 3.5 per pulse. So 7 per day. 6, 7. He would be right here. And then on the second day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He'd be here. Yeah, I don't want to get that close. But let's make sure we're one turn away from it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. It's close enough. I don't want to get that. I don't want to get any closer. Let's make sure he's remain on station. He is. We're gonna send a crappy little transport up here, kind of as cannon fodder, unfortunately. But that's where we are right now. Okay. Let's look at Suva really quickly. As you can see, I mean, Suva is low on supply. That is not a situation you can allow yourself to get it. We need massive supply task force to get up here to Suva. This little guy, 1,000, isn't going to do much. He's using up more than that every day. Well, is that true? You can go find out. Let's go to Suva. You need about 1179 for what you can see. We've got a lot of artillery out here. We've got 121 in assault strength. It's not great. This artillery sort of got stranded here, to be quite honest. This should be spread out across Nomaya, Suva, Pago. But when his carrier came out here, and let that guide you as you play the Japanese, you can really disrupt the Allied setup by doing that. Because now I'm terrified I'm going to run into a carrier. We do have more 1-point AKLs heading towards Suva. You can see we've got 5 total. That's probably too much. Let's actually have this one go towards Nomaya and see what we have out there. All right. So that way we don't have 4 walking in there, 5 if you count that one. We've got this group. It's another little AKL and another group of AKLs. So I've sent a lot out to Suva here. We've got to get that supplied up. What is Nomaya looking like? Oh, it's got 13,000, so that's fine. Why don't we have this guy? Let's have that go to Pago. Okay. And we've got plenty over at Tahiti. After we, make one big run out to Pago and Suva, a lot of times, I mean, you're good for like a month. But let's have it go through here. I'm just terrified he's out here somewhere, lurking. He's got me scared of my own shadow. What's this patrol doing? Okay, well, this is running general patrol over here, and we're not seeing anything, but it's only one plane. So let's not get carried away. These guys are doing naval search, 3 planes and 6 planes. Does he really need to be that far out? It doesn't hurt. I kind of like to be out there. We're almost to Nomaya with this sub. I like that. Okay, I mean, there's not a whole lot to do. Oh, we also have something over at Naughty. We've got, hey, you're Naughty. Naval search, 3 aircraft doing a general search out here. So if anything is in this area, we should frickin' see it. But sometimes you don't. At Naughty, we've got assault value of 48. At Suva, what did I say it was? Like 120? 121. Okay. Um, and at Pago, we just don't have much. 68. I've got to get more troops into Pago, Suva, Nomaya. It's got to be one of our next priorities. But we got all of these ships going up there to see what's going on. These two AKLs, the Vichy and or the Vichy French, and the Nicarata. Usually I have to go to Tahiti, but we're dropping off so much stuff at Tahiti right now. No need. I've got aircraft coming in. Look at this. 15th PG. That means they're fighters when it's PG. They're Airacobras, and it's 8 of them. We do not actually need. Well, that's not. Let's not overstate it. We don't actually desperately need more aircraft in Australia because we've gotten a lot, and you'll see that when we get over there. We've just naturally gotten a lot. Let's unload this cargo actually in Auckland. Let's put these planes in Auckland, and let's take a quick peek at Auckland very quickly. It's got 28 in aviation sport, so we'll put some fighters up in cap here. I like that. All right, so he's going in there. What do we have right behind it? We've got a massive, massive supply um, task force. Now, at this point, okay, same route, yes, okay. These guys were supposed to go into either Suva or Pago, but that's just become untenable. We've also got a big tanker group coming in here as well. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. I'm going to put this on remain on station. And I'm going to have these tankers sit down here for a minute. And I may just have them go straight into Wellington. I don't like all of these points going into Auckland all on the same turn. Because if all of a sudden the carriers come out of the shadows, you are fudged, my friend. As a matter of fact, I'm tempted to break some of this up. I mean, there's a lot of 10-point ships out here. Yeah, let's take the 4800s and pull them out. Let's do a cargo. Done. All right. Whoops. Cargo. Let's pull the Eldorado. Let's pull these 5 ships out. All right. And we're also going to have them just sit down here, and maybe we'll just bring them into Wellington. At least that gives us a different look. I don't like having this with no destroyer at all. Let's give it 1 destroyer. And when we get down here, we can also combine up with this tanker group potentially. It's got the big AO, the Koyuma. It's got huge tankers, the Mobile Gas and the Story. We could also even, I don't really want it to be on this island though, because what I wanted to do is then take smaller cargo ships and come up to these islands like we're already doing, right? You got to be careful. You just don't want them all coming into port at the same turn, especially when we've already got a million things out here. Now, this is a bunch of American ships. Let's actually split them up. Okay, done. Let's have these go back to LA, I think. All right, we'll want to do that with waypoints, but let me see where we are here. 166 on the one-way journey, so we can certainly do that. Oh, you know what? Actually, wrong. Wrong. That is not what I want to do. Let's go back to this and let's actually have it go into Melbourne. and we'll have these guys run out to um, back and forth to Auckland. Use waypoints, set a waypoint 1. All right, let's have this be waypoint 1. Oh shit. Wow, that looks weird. Melbourne, baby. Put that as your home port. Back. Is he still on remain on station or something? Why does he go there and then turn around? Waypoint 2, because he's going to look for the most efficient way to go. So let's put waypoint 2 down here. See if that fixes it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now we go out and around New Zealand and then back into Melbourne. We'll have that. We don't need that to auto disband. All right, that all looks fine. Like I said, we're dropping off here. Second Marine Defense. We're just going to put these in Auckland. I like that. That's fine. So again, we've got a lot of points sitting here. We've got to be really careful. We've got 16 ships in port. Okay, we got a lot of little AKLs, and that's fine. That's what we want out here. Let's take this. Let's go cargo. Let's take this destroyer, and then all the 65 and 10s. Does that make sense? 6,012s. Actually, let's take the 6,012s. I think those are worth more. 6,012, 6,012, 6,012 on the speed. All right, done? Yeah, we're done. All right. Let's also have those go back up to Melbourne, and we'll start, bringing stuff out to Auckland as we need. And then Auckland will be the jumping off point so that we're not going across this way. Instead, we're coming all the way down here and then up. I always find that that's better. Use waypoints, set waypoint 1. All right. Let's set waypoint 2 down here somewhere. Sure. And there we go. All right, off it goes. All right, I'm going to take a break for a second. I will be